Hello?
Hello.
Hey Robin, how are you?
I'm alright.
Sweet. Cool. So let's jump into the lesson today. From our talk yesterday, just after a little bit, you said you wanted to focus a little bit more on decision making within a set, like how to stay focused.
Oh, no, I meant like I have a million things written down,
Mm-hmm.
and so I I pick like a few of them to work on
Oh,
at a
right.
given
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to go through that list together and maybe we can talk about which ones are the most important to focus on, how long you should be focusing on each one, kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. Like maybe more like less specifically on what I have right now and more on like criteria for doing that.
Okay, sure. Well, why don't we use your list just as an example? We
Yeah,
can go
yeah.
through is like what's most important. Okay. So you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what do we have here? Punish, F smash, out of shield, violence is Marth killer, jump cancel. So these seem kind of like, are these like sorted at all?
They're categorized. So like
But like
I've
this list
got
up here isn't different from this one down here, right?
uh the top list is the stuff that's focused, and then the bottom list is like the pool of stuff that I could focus on.
Gotcha. And you have them tagged on like very important,
Yeah,
critical.
yeah, critical. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And then match up, and then like if it's still a practice or a match or review.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, that's a lot. But
Yeah.
um let's go through it here. So punish. Personally, the way I would break this down, I would add new tags to here. Kind
Okay.
of like what you have right here, but like I would add like neutral, punish,
Oh, I have that
defense.
too. It's just not displayed on that list.
Okay, gotcha. Um what app is this? Is this just like
This
a
is Notion.
Notion? Okay, I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, it's very good in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so punish Martha Smash. So that's punish. This would be defense, or I guess edge guarding. I would probably categorize edge guarding into like its own thing. So punish, edge guarding, tech, up air, crouch cancel, dash attack versus short hop fair. So that's new, I'm assuming. Angle hard shield down on platforms. Never flow forward without a turn up. Microspace punish in the air. So this one
I think
I'd
I
like
can
to point
actually
out.
link it to you.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Let's see if it works.
Sure. Let's see.
The bottom one.
Second one. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. So
If you
focused.
click on them, they have like categories.
Right. Okay.
Uh, yeah, go to the focus tab. Yeah.
So like if I click on
So if you
this,
click on like one of the like the name of an entry, yeah, yeah,
gotcha. Okay. Um okay. Well, you have a lot here, which is good.
yeah,
I would definitely add those like oh, you do have it here, punish. So why
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
it show up?
Oh, I just didn't set it to show.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would probably break it down into more like that versus like well, I guess these are good too. But yeah, I would categorize it that way just so you can practice that. I feel like right now your biggest weakness in a game is defense. Like what you're doing to get out of
Yeah.
someone having advantage. So it'd be great if you have like a defense tab or tag, sorry, that you can kind of just go in and be like, okay, I know these are things on defense I need to work on, and then you can just focus on those. Um, which like it seems like you already have a pretty well structure for that, so that's amazing. In terms of like how to prioritize what you have or what you're actually practicing on, the way I would approach this, and this is the way I know a lot of different top players will they do this at their own different seeds. Some people like to work at everything at once. Some people like to hard focus on just one thing. I typically like to do what I call the 1 week method. I know Nunn does this as well. I had a conversation with him once where he talks about like this is what he does when he wants to practice something, where you just take one thing that you're looking to improve on, or one matchup even that you're looking to focus on, and you just spend 1 or 2 weeks practicing that over and over, and then you drop it completely. Obviously, if like you're playing unranked or something, and like, or if you enter a tournament and that opportunity comes up, you can practice it still there too, whatever you're practicing. But let's say like this week, like you're just focusing on how you're playing versus Marth specifically. So you spend like 2 weeks playing just Marth, as many Marths as you can, trying to get as much information and, see how comfortable you are against him. And then next week you play like Captain Falcon or something, right?
Oh.
Just to keep it fresh in your mind, and also makes it able so that you're easily able to come back. And another reason why that's so good is because let's say this week versus Marth, you practice punishing crouch cancel or punishing like a instant fair from him, and you punish it with crouch cancel dash attack. And so for that week, like you try and implement it. You may mess up a million times, which is fine, but that week that's your focus, right? And then next week you move on to Falcon, and then when you come back to Marth, you're looking to see, okay, is what I practiced the time before still like need work? Am I getting it pretty consistently? Are there still spots where I'm still not hitting it too much? And then for that week you can practice that again, or move on to something else,
Mm.
So that would definitely be the way I would kind of sort these out, in terms of like, because I see you have just like a bunch of different things here, but I would specifically categorize them, which you have matchup already, and I know you have punish here too, and defense. So I would specifically categorize them in the punish and defense and edge guarding and neutral and all those, and then still leave the character tags on if you find they're relevant to them. But generally speaking, I would try and implement the 1 week method if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I'm just uh I mean, because like this, what I have, like, if you count like the focus things and then the other things,
Yep.
it's like 3 years of weeks,
Okay.
right? Because the things are really small.
Yep.
So,
Some of them
um,
are, yeah, for sure. Like the thing is, like a lot of these, yeah, like you don't have to focus on just one thing all the time. You can focus on a couple things. I'm talking more in terms of like matchup, or if it's like a very like broad like concept. So like when we talked about yesterday, or not yesterday, it was a couple of days now, but we talked about in our first lesson together the difference of like peach neutral with a turnip and without it. Like there's so many different things that fall under the umbrella of neutral, right?
yeah,
So maybe for like that week you're focusing on just peach neutral with a turnip, and maybe the week after you're focusing on peach neutral without a turnip, right? That is, of course, you play every day. That's why I usually do the 2 week method, just because a lot of the time people don't have time to play every day.
yeah,
But yeah, no, for sure. Like there's some things in here like punishing Marth's instant forward hair, right? Like you don't need to spend 2 whole weeks doing that. Maybe it's something you're looking out for that 1 week, but generally speaking, like there's more to a match than just only punishing Marth's short hop forward air, right? He has a
right,
million different moves and situations he can put you in.
yeah,
Um, but generally speaking, like if there's a big topic you feel like you're really struggling in, that's the thing I would try and say that's your 1 week, unless it's like a big topic or something that's like really important that you find you're always losing, it's really frustrating you, and like if you fix this one thing, like you would have won that match kind of thing. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So out of here, if you want, since you already have this list, we could go there, or we could go just talk about more things that I think you can work on. But I mean, obviously, I haven't read this whole list yet. But
Well, like, I don't think there's a point in reading the whole list, but
okay.
like this is meant to be like the short list that I can like even like look at during or like between stocks or whatever,
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's good.
or between games.
Hmm.
But if it's like this is supposed to be like the short list, but if it's so long, it kind of defeats its own purpose.
Yeah, a little
But
bit.
then, yeah, but then if it's like if it's one thing, I don't know if it's enough. I don't know. Like I guess I just have to like just get better at filtering them. manually.
Well, like if you wanted, but we could go through this and just spend the lesson
Yeah,
today,
yeah,
like
yeah, sure.
going through here. Um, because yeah, no, honestly, I might even start doing this myself because I just keep like I have a little. I'll show you here on Discord. Like if you go to my Discord server, I have like my secret channels right here. That's how I put all my notes.
Gotcha.
Um, so something like this is actually really helpful. So yeah, why don't we just spend today? We'll go through this, and then tomorrow we can actually, once we have it cleaned up, we can actually start implementing some of these things and get you on the right focus track.
Okay. I can like give you my template and help you get this set up for yourself,
Sure,
like
that'd be awesome.
outside of a lesson if you want. Okay.
Cool. So let's try and break this down. I like that you have the character tags. I think that should change. I want to ask for clarification on these, so I'm going to click sort, see if it just tells me. Maybe not. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can see all the tags at once.
I'll just change the view. Hold on.
Okay, cool. Or even if you just want to share your screen, we can just look at it on yours. That probably makes more sense.
Yeah, I can also do that. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me know if this is showing.
Not yet. You may have to relaunch it.
Yeah.
It happens every now and then. Okay. Yeah, you're good. Okay.
Let's see.
So for tags, what do you have? Is there a way to see them all at once?
Yeah, you can see it, right?
Yeah, no, I can see it like
You want to
this.
see like the list of tags?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, gotcha. So I'm gonna write them down really quick. Okay, so you have punish, pressure, defense, neutral, spacing, recovery, mental, edge guarding, reaction, technique, mix up. Okay, I'm not gonna write these all down. It seems kind of redundant now, but actually maybe I will. Mental, edge guarding. It's just gonna be spelled poorly. Reaction, technique, mix up. Okay, cool. So in terms of these, I'll keep my screen share on so you can see what I'm up to at all times. In terms of these, I would probably start linking some of them together. Like punish can easily go with pressure. So you could call it punish and pressure. Unless you have like different definitions of them.
Yeah, I think they could, yeah, be on top of that.
Neutral, I would also probably put with mix up.
Okay.
Just because a lot of the time those kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, like mix-ups can be combined with kind of almost anything.
Yeah. Edge guarding is
like,
tricky.
Like technically teching in place versus tech rolling is a mix-up, right? So
yeah. And like same with spacing too, right? Like spacing can also be considered neutral. Yeah. So like mix up could be also punished too. Like maybe mix up I would maybe remove, unless like what do you have tagged as mix up right now? Just to keep it concise. Okay, so double jump sweet spot at the ledge. So that's full cancel.
Some of these are like, I mean, if you just look at the focused ones, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, the focused ones would be flow cancel, aerial versus spot dodge. So what do you mean by that? Like spot dodge after flow cancel area?
Yeah.
And then mix up, turn up, pull, and down smash on platform. Okay, yeah, maybe I would remove this category and just it seems like your screen share is not working again for some reason. Um,
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll put mine on. Worst case, we can use mine later. Because a lot of these they can either be in neutral or just like advantage. One thing I would add, which I think you have already, yeah, you have defense, but you don't have advantage, which maybe can go in neutral. We'll
I
see.
guess I could change pressure to advantage.
Yeah, actually, that's perfect point. Um, and like defense can go with recovery almost, but I know Peach's recovery is a little bit more complex than other characters.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Either way, I think the tags you have are exactly probably what I would put on here.
Yeah.
Outside of a couple things like character tags, of course, or like stage techniques, but
Mhm.
generally speaking, they kind of follow the same structure as Melee Library. Have you heard of that resource before?
Yeah.
Melee Library, yeah. So it kind of follows that a little bit. Um, and I think also like the Captain Falcon. Have you heard of the cookbook before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's also structured pretty similarly. Um, cookbook.gg. Yeah, there it is. Um, yeah, like kind of follows that pretty well. Okay. So anyway, that's probably pretty good. And then let's focus some of these. So like I would probably categorize these. I know you have focused here, but is there a way? Yeah, you can. Okay. So like punish. Yeah. So this is good. Dash attack to down smash on followers. Is that like a tech chase down smash on Falcon?
Uh, no, I think it just worked. It just like they fall into the down smash.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So dash attack, hitbox A, full hop and air at 94. Down tilt, full
Wait,
cancel.
wait. Is my stop updating or like am I scrolling right now?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm looking at my screen.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, so yeah, I'm sharing screen if you want to see what I'm looking at right now. I'm
Yeah,
on
yeah.
your punish tab,
Yeah, I see now.
which I like how this is structured a lot more than like the focus tab. But I guess that's just for when you're like playing kind of thing, like things to
Yeah,
keep an
yeah.
eye on.
That's for when. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so punish versus all these characters, and then you have matches. What are these? Oh, match. No, these are matchups. Okay. This is a little confusing. Review.
Um. Oh, yeah. Wait, what does the mattress one say?
This one review?
Oh. Oh, okay. Matches is like not solo practice, basically.
Oh, like stuff that's
And then
happening in a game.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And then it's by character, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
Um,
no matchups on that list is like against all characters.
hmm. Gotcha. Okay, so here's probably this is probably what you want,
Yeah.
right? Like rather than the actual focus tab that you had before that was a little like kind of all over the place.
Right. Okay.
This one's probably structured much better for you to be able to look in a set. So this is actually pretty good at what you have already
Hmm.
here. So say you're like playing a game, right? Like like I guess like focused is good because you can always like change that around,
Yeah.
right? Like if you wanted to implement like versus Marth and like the way you have focus set up, like your versus Marth focus, that would be really. I think that would probably be what works best for you.
Focus is like if you go back
Mm-hmm.
to if you like expand one of them,
Yeah,
there's like the check mark at the end. So it's basically stuff I've manually checked off to like work on right now.
gotcha. Okay, so take laser dash stance, punish F smash out of shield, tech in place, down smash. What is CSA SDID?
C stick ASDI down.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
um, double jump land out of shield, down smash. Okay, dash out shield, down smash. So these are all just like very generic. Yeah, like this is not something you'd really do against Marth, the shield grab after a shine. Um,
Against Falco.
yeah, yeah. Fox too, for sure. You don't want to. That's number one. That's noob killer day one is let them try and shield grab you after an aerial.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like these are kind of like all over the place. I like these two tabs quite a bit, except I would structure this versus Mirth tab to look like your focus tab.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this focus tab is infinitely better than this one. Even
Okay.
though this one's like very generic across the board, I think the way you have this structured is much more like beneficial for you in a match or just in solo practice either way.
Okay.
Because you can quickly be like, oh, what just happened in that match? Like, I feel like I couldn't get down, and it's like, oh, maybe I need to work on my defense, and you can pull out your defense tab. I think there's a bit.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So like pick a category to work on and then within that category find stuff to work on.
Yeah, exactly, right. And like
Yeah.
even I don't know how exactly how this site works, but even if you could like all these categories up here, like if your versus Marth specific tab had all these
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that you could work on versus
I could
Marth,
definitely do that, yeah.
yeah, that'd probably be the best way. So I mean, obviously we don't have to jump into that today, just so you and I can spend the rest of the 40 minutes we have together probably doing something a little bit more productive.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can do that. It's like a data entry thing.
Yeah.
You can do it outside the lesson, but that's definitely how I'd recommend doing it. That's how I have my notes structured, but this is just a cleaner way of doing it.
Okay.
So yeah, for today, let's you may even want to have outside of defense here, just as another tag you might want to write down. It's up to you, but reversal is probably one I'd probably put on there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just because reversal can kind of go with punish, but
Yeah.
it can you there's a lot of nuance to melee punish, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of movement that happens on the stage. It makes sense not to try and bubble it all into one place, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But if you know a good reversal is like, then if you can practice on your punish game later, like you, in my opinion, when you're learning, like punish is much more important in general than like neutral as a whole.
Hmm.
I would definitely recommend to people who are new to the game, like any Marth that I would teach, I would definitely like show them the chain grab before I'm showing them like where are you positioning yourself on the stage the whole time. Just because if they get that one grab, they'll take the stock, right?
Yeah.
Which can be annoying for the people they're playing at their level. Like, oh my god, Marth's so cheese, but he has a very easy punish game to kind of practice. So same thing with Peach. Like I would, even though like she doesn't get like a touch of death off a lot of her uh, openings versus like a floaty, for example. If she doesn't have a strong punish game to begin with, like sure she may have a good neutral, but like people are gonna have better neutral at you when you're pretty new to the game, right? So you might as well make your neutral matter way more than theirs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, with that in mind, let's jump into if you have Uncle Punch, I'd like you to share your screen so we can practice some solo practice a little bit before we play.
Okay.
Because I want to see how you're practicing your crouch cancel get up, or I keep saying get up attack, but it's dash attack. Can you do it in reversal training? That may even be easier for you.
Um,
Training lab's fine, I mean, of course.
yeah, I tried in reversal training, but yeah, so I tried in reversal training, like basically it's he like fast falls the fair and stuff, basically.
CPU attack. Fair. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I know you can put. Yeah, perfect. So that's exactly it. Because a lot of time they will try and fast fall it, right? And even if they do, like you can still get that dash attack out.
Yeah.
And I think you can use the D-pad to practice it at different spacings potentially. Yeah. So like this is pretty much what you'd want to be practicing at like a realistic range, which is probably like there-ish. It's tricky, but it's definitely doable, right? So, and even at 0%, just because where you're at right now, I'm pretty sure you can also like dash dance and ASDI down since you're playing on box. It's like a broken technique on box. But you should be able to move ASDI down and then still get a attack out. It may be a little tricky, but low percent ASDI on a rectangle is like actually broken.
Yeah.
So take full advantage of that if you can. But this would definitely be what I'd recommend practicing.
Okay.
If you want, we could either go over, we could just play and you could practice actively like practice this right now, like we've done in the past couple sessions, or we could go over just situations in a match likely to happen as to when you may be getting hit by this forward air, so you can take notes and solo practice this outside of lessons too. Because it's important. Uncle Punch, the way you're just doing it right now, is good for the timing, but more importantly, like you need to be able to get comfortable hitting this timing at different positions in the stage or in a match. If that makes sense. So whichever you prefer, basically, is I'm fine to do either.
I don't know. I think this is like extremely important, but also I feel um like ingraining the idea of like stage control and stuff is something I more want to work on
Okay,
because
we
yeah.
definitely can. I think you would benefit more from this stuff right now, but it's
Oh
certainly
really?
something we could do. I do, yeah. Just because ingraining the concept of stage control is important. Don't get me wrong, and there's tons of things we can work on in terms of patience, which I would maybe probably just try and schedule for like a VOD review session to talk about stage control rather than like actively
Okay.
playing, just because that's a little harder to do on the fly. But I also think something like this is much more important, just because at lower levels, like this is an option you're going to see all the time. It's this instant short hop fair. And if you can punish them for doing it every time, it's kind of like what's an example I could give? Like if someone were to punish someone for double jumping at the ledge when they recover every single time and you just hit them for it, right? It's like a noob
Yeah.
killer kind of thing. So you gotta get your noob killers, your chump checks, some people call them. Uh, you gotta get those unlocked so that you can like quote start playing for real, you know?
Right. Okay.
But this is also something you can solo practice. So again, like we could go into situations where like this situation is likely to come up, um, and just like set it up like slowly and talk it over in a match if you'd like, or we could just play and do that, or if you want like tomorrow we could do like a VOD review session of matches you have against other Marths and we can kind of point out situations where you can kind of hit those more. Any of those three is fine, but I think this is definitely something you should try and work on first and foremost.
Okay. Um, I mean, like which avenue do you think would be the most helpful where I am right now?
It depends. Like I think we could do a VOD review session tomorrow and against other Marths that you if you have any Slippy files of, we can go through that.
Mhm.
Um, maybe that might be more helpful. I think we could go over and I could just show you a couple of situations of where that's likely to happen, I guess, from a Marth's perspective. So you can kind of be ready for that. But again, it's not like any of these things we'd go over today. It's not like you're instantly going to be able to like never get hit by again, right? You're still going to have to put in the
Right.
solo practice outside of the lessons,
Yeah.
just because it is punish game based. But yeah, I mean, let's jump into a couple. Let's jump into a game. I'll show you a couple spots on the stage where
Okay.
you're most likely to get hit by that.
Choose your character.
And the first one we'll get into is probably the most relevant one to what we talked about yesterday. Just at the end of our session. It's going to be at the ledge.
Okay.
Versus Peach. Ready?
Okay. So if you are on the ledge like this, right? Which you can go there if you want. It's I'm not gonna hit you. If you just get off the ledge, the main mix-up the Marth is gonna be looking for, right? Is either run up grab, try and grab you out of your neutral get-up. Down tilt, which a lot of Marths like to do, and either just try and put you back off either on stage or in the corner.
Yeah.
Hit your shield.
Really broken on the stage.
Yeah, definitely. Or they'll do a forward air. Forward air to me is the most risky of these, but a lot of low level Marths will go for this forward air. Outside of just the forward air dash attack punish that we're talking about right now, once you're comfortable forward, or if you feel like you need something else to practice instead, practice down tilt or dash attacking a down tilt here. Because even though like you can just float and back air or nair a Marth for doing down tilt, like that's your main mix up you have. In the corner especially, it's extra risky because like if you get hit by forward smash, obviously like you just die, right?
Yeah.
So this would be the situation where a forward is likely to come out. Say like if I forward smash you off stage and you get back to the ledge, right? So that's you coming back from forward smash. Some Marths will just run up and do this, just like a panic, and then they might spam it, right? Something like this. You're getting off the ledge. But if you're ready for it, like that window where you're crouching, and then once you're here, like I'm up here, you're over there, total situation reversal, right? Now I'm in the corner, you have it, and you can play your patient game, or you can commit to a back air or an up air, but again, that's pretty committal for Peach. So that's one situation for sure. The next, even though it's not an instant fair, like oh sorry, like this that we were talking about, is coming down here off a platform, right? You can still get that out. I'd probably down smash this personally. Landing fairs more. Down smash is definitely the best punish against landing fair, but that's something you can do, just like that. Especially if you're in the center of the stage. Let's go on battlefield. Right, like even when we come down from a match, right? Like I'm starting over here, you're starting over here, right? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. You can just go down here, hold down, and anticipate or react to whatever you're doing, right? So like let's show that in a real situation. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, we both missed there, but the point being, if it were set up properly, like here, let's just do it for real. Right, like look how huge that is at the beginning of the game. Yeah. So that's another super common situation. And then of course,
I have a question.
Sure.
If you're like on this platform, and I'm like crouching, expecting you to drop, and you like do a fair.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to explain. Like, so obviously I'm reacting to you dropping, so that I can do the down smash.
Yep.
Like for example, like if you drop into a fair, then I down smash you. But if you drop and like shield or grab or something, that's unreactable, or like would a good player in that situation be able to react to the difference?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily unreactable. The thing is like by the time you're already crouching here and anticipating them to fall down, what you have to be thinking is not actively like every line, but like your subconscious should be, okay, I'm forcing a mix-up right now. And you know the mix-up, kind of like how you described it already, is they're either going to forward air or they're going to grab, right? Because it's Marth in this situation, I would never assume that they're just going to go from all the way down on the platform to like falling in front of Peach and like landing and trying to grab her knowing full well from here she's been crouching the whole time, right? That's pretty. When I can just do this.
I mean, more realistic would be like you drop and then dash back or something.
Yeah, that's possible too. If it were me, I'm just doing this every time and holding back while I'm throwing out the forward air, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the privilege Marth gets of having the sword, right? He gets to kind of the biggest thing that's hard for Peach to deal with in the matchup is just this, because she's slow and there's not really much she can do against that other than maybe trade with dash attack. But even then, like if I do it perfectly, which you can make difficult just by movement and turnips and whatnot, but generally from a platform's perspective, you can almost always assume Marth is going to do that. Sometimes he may down air if he's going to try and land right on top of you.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm pretty sure, like, we can try a 40 even if you want right now. I'm going to land with down air. I'm pretty sure you can still crouch cancel it. Maybe not.
Well, I did, but it's down air, so yeah.
But my point, and you can crouch cancel down air a certain percentage. I think just 40 may be too high. Crouch cancel down smash is what I mean.
Oh.
Yeah. We can try it here. Let's try it at 0. Because that's really what's most likely going to happen. If they're falling on you from a platform at all, it's going to be with either a forward air or down air, which both you can crouch cancel down smash. You know? So that would be how you play that against Marth in particular, would be to crouch cancel that. So main 2 spots, once again, for a rising forward air, shoot, I don't know what I'm doing. It's in the corner here, right? Or just on stage, whatever. You may find that if you're floating, here's usually a pretty like risky, but like it's not a bad spot to float against Marth at this height. Because a lot of the time, if you get the timing right, or the spacing right, like instant forward air won't hit it, right? They'll try and throw it out at you. But if you can bait out an instant fair, fall down and float, or fall down and crouch, already Marth's in the air. You may be able to just straight up dash attack rather than have to anticipate getting hit by one, you know?
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you don't want to be in the air much against Marth in general. That's just a position where a situation like that may occur. But generally speaking, yeah, like it's gonna be either in the corner right here, or just anywhere like where you're in the air. 9 times out of 10, if a Marth sees you in the air, he's just gonna try and forward air you. So you can either go outside of that and make him freak out and then want to throw out instant fair kind of thing, or he might just do it in the corner. But again, we talked about how like they shouldn't be doing this forward air in the corner here. They should be doing down tilt and F smash, like stopping you from being able to get back on. They're much safer. But it is something that could happen, right? So you basically just gotta look, like even at this forward air that I'm doing right here, like you can still reach that just because dash attack goes so far. You don't have to look at it as just like crouching here basically gives you an option select, right? Because like if you crouch, if I do hit you with the forward air, you can still get the dash attack. But even this, like you can dash attack me for doing that if you want to try it, right? And like that's me trying to get another forward air out. You just got to be quick at it. So generally speaking, this spacing is really good. Especially if you punish them for doing down tilt enough with your floats, they're gonna start fairing after that. Maybe they'll do nair instead, which you can play around too. But
hey, how do I deal with nair like in general? Because it mostly auto cancel nair. I don't like.
well, there's
If I have
different.
a turn up, it's better, but
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is
without
too,
one,
there's-
it just seems like a free move from my.
it can be, but it's also not. Like float is pretty bad against, or nair is pretty bad against something like a float when you're threatening from the other direction. No, sorry, like facing away, right? Like this float, I would definitely challenge with Marth, but just because of the angle, like, hold on, I'm gonna try and keep floating that way. This float is a little bit higher. You're like halfway through the platform here. But the point that I'm trying to illustrate is that this is both the apex of my height and around when I would get my earliest nair out, right?
Yeah.
But if you notice, I'm going to see if I can get it the right frame of it. Or the platform's blocking in there. But Marth's head is pretty like, I don't know if a good way to like illustrate it. Maybe like here. Like you see where the sword is, right? But Marth's head is pretty vulnerable here. And also, he's pretty high up against in the ground compared to the ground too, right? So sometimes if he does a nair early enough, you can straight up just dash attack him as long as you don't get hit by the second hit only, because that's pretty hard to crouch cancel. But the reason why, if you read a lot of Marth guides on this matchup, why you should opt for fair instead of nair is just because look at the range that it covers in front of Marth's body, right? Outside of the threatening range that it's gonna do to Peach. Yeah. It just gives a round of like there's a giant, I don't know if you can see my mouse. No, I can't even see it, never mind. But there's like a giant like rainbow around Marth's head that's all a hitbox, right? So for a character that floats in the air like Peach, like that's impossible to contest. But with nair, right, that head is pretty exposed. So float back air is pretty good against Marth nair. Because if it doesn't just trade outright, sometimes it'll just beat it, you know? Of course, you always have to take and consider the risk reward. Like right now, a trade would probably go in my favor. But maybe at a higher percent, like if I'm trading with back air or Peach nair, like maybe not, you know? So generally speaking, like to beat Marth doing an early nair like that, you can definitely just float back air it. And again, on the ground, you can throw a turn up. Sometimes you can dash attack it. If it's low enough percent, like I'm going to try and nair you while you crouch maybe. You might be able to do crouch cancel down smash. Right?
Yeah. That was a strong hit, right?
Yeah, that was. So there's a couple ways. It's not really too different from any other aerial for Marth, but the main difference between nair and forward air, to me in this matchup, from Marth's perspective, would be just that it's basically like a worse forward air, right? Like anything you would be doing with nair outside of like maybe the fact that it has 2 hits, so it might be better against throwing a turn up sometimes. But again, like that's the mix up you play against throwing a turn up, right? Like if you know they're gonna do a nair, maybe you just do a later nair yourself, right? Because when you throw a turn up and I nair at it, you can beat me straight up with a nair. Like Malachi's Peach is really good at doing that.
With a nair?
Yeah, like turn up nair.
Oh yeah. Short hop turn up?
Yeah, like just that and then nair right after. Yeah, exactly. Right, like that literally just beats nair.
Okay.
So, but it doesn't beat forward air, right? If I get it out in time, just because forward air has a higher range. I'm messing it up, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much how you beat nair. Again, like they really shouldn't be doing nair in the matchup. Like, there's almost never a reason to use it that fair doesn't do, but just better. But again, we kind of went over ways you can be fair.
I forget the context, but I think some Marth said at some point like nair is better at lower percent.
Yeah, well, nair is a lot more aggressive than forward air. Like, for forward air to be safe a lot of the time, like nair does more knockback, right? So inherently, it's better against something like crouch cancel, which would explain the lower percent part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if sometimes you can even just like straight up tipper or crouch cancel a tipper forward air, and still get a down smash or a grab or down tilt out of it. But it's usually if the Marth is spacing properly, they would still technically be safe, but you gotta also keep in mind the fact that like certain matches, what am I trying to say here? Sorry, my English is like so bad today. You also have to keep in mind that, you know, not every player is perfect, right? So people are definitely going to miss up spacing. There's almost no Marth in the world that is only getting tipper spacing every time And if they are, it's just because you're not forcing something yourself, you know, or threatening something. Sorry. Does that answer that question a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
What's a matchup where Nair is much better than it is versus Peach?
Like Marth?
Yeah.
Depends on the context. I would say for sure Captain Falcon is one that's coming to mind. Generally speaking, I think Marths are just starting to use Nair less and less in general because like even on DI, like every other character is just learning like, oh, if you DI out of a Nair, like it's really not as good.
Yeah.
But like for Falcon, like if you're up close and Falcon's like range is a very important thing in the Marth Falcon matchup. But like generally speaking, like you talked about before, like Nair auto cancels. It keeps a long hitbox out, which is like really Marth's only move that he has. That's like keeps a long move out like this.
Yeah.
So in something like where Captain Falcon also has his Nair that is out longer, but like it's not. It doesn't really do much. Like Captain Falcon's first hit Nair like really isn't gonna get him too much in neutral. It has use and punish, of course. But generally speaking, like for Marth, it's a big commitment to jump really against any character. And in Falcon, where he can like be literally the distance that we are right now and still be threatening to Marth with just his short hop Nair. Yeah. Something like this is really good because it trades pretty well against his legs. And up close, it's scary for him on his shield and out of shield options. Because otherwise, like, sitting duck is really the way you gotta look at it. Like, instant fair comes out fast, but like that's kind of the mix-up, right? It's like if you do an instant fair, I have all this time before I get my second fair out that you can hit me. And the same thing with like a late fair, right? Like maybe I can come down with the hitbox, but I have all this time where I'm in the air that you can hit. Exactly, right? So there's mix-ups to Marth's aerials. They're not as broken as they may seem, but they're still pretty good, of course. You gotta respect the game that they kind of inherently force upon you, right? But yeah, outside of that, those are pretty much like the main two spots I would expect of instant fair. Would just be like if I'm down tilting you a bunch and you've already proven to me that you're not going to get hit by my down tilts, right? You're going to float over there and back air them or nair. I'd probably threaten float back air before I do float down air. Right, like back air is really good against down tilt. Just because you can land on top of him. Like, out of a float, there's no lag, right? So, even if Marth is crouching and doing back air, if you're fast enough with it, you just get back air down smash, and it's just true combos. So yeah, if you pretty much prove to him that like you're not gonna get hit by these down tilts, that's when he's gonna start throwing out the instant fairs, trying to catch your float, punishing his down tilts.
Okay, so fair is like just inherently more risky from Marth's perspective.
Yeah, of course.
Down tilt. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Of course, like down tilt still isn't like the least risk free. Like you can still can still be beaten out, but yeah, like for like imagine if oh sorry, go ahead.
And then I guess grab feels even worse to go for than fair for Marth.
Yeah, it can be. Sometimes it's not because like if I've stopped you from dash attacking, like really all you have is down smash or like a float, which both do technically lose to just like me being up close and doing this, right? But if I stop you, like Marth's grab is huge. Like I have so much range. Like you got to keep in mind like all this space that I'm covering with dash dance, at any point I could just pivot grab and get you, you know? So it does feel bad to go for, but that's only because like it's only bad if the Marth is doing it with like zero information of the set, right? Like you wouldn't want to start a game and just like instantly be mashing grab, right? Obviously you're gonna get hit. But if I've conditioned you maybe to stop doing certain moves or approaching in certain ways, then now all of a sudden grab is a lot better. So yeah, really it's a mix up about like different types of neutral, right? Which is kind of what we talked about the first time. Like there's a neutral game that you play with the turn up and without. It's the same thing for punishing, right? Like there's a neutral game you play of what you're threatening and what you're not. So yeah, I hope that explains it. So yeah, definitely. I know I have it in the Metafy like replay review thing, but definitely would still recommend practicing in Uncle Punch, just getting used to that timing. It's critical. It's the equivalent of like CC grab for Marth, you know, like if a fox is on a platform here and they're always threatening back area at the ledge, right? Like they always do. Marth should just be grabbing them every time out of it. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
You mean the CC dash attack?
Yeah, exactly. Like or CC down smash. Like it's
yeah.
You're really only picking both based on spacing or percent, but generally speaking, like that's kind of what you're looking for when you see Marth starting to use his forward airs. It's either dash attack or down smash, but in my opinion, dash attack's a little bit better a lot of the time, but of course down smash will get you a little bit more.
It's only really recently that I started, like I realized that, and our lessons helped a lot with this. It's like CC it's a proactive option that you choose, and it's not just like a reaction to something.
Oh yeah. Sorry, maybe I may be going a little bit too quick and assuming that you already knew that. I forget that you're still pretty new.
I realized it like not long ago.
Yeah, like
it's like shielding. It's not like
exactly right. Like, the other thing too is like there's just situations in the game where like it's strictly just better to like throw out a CC before you do anything. Like I know some Captain Falcons and not so much Peaches because they don't get to ledge dash, but like Sheiks will do it. They'll get off the ledge with the ledge dash and they're just holding down just to see what you do. It's risky sometimes because like maybe you get hit and then all of a sudden you get hit off stage when you tried to crouch cancel, you know? But like what I was talking about before, like, well, I know Fox is just going to do this back air and maybe he mixes up like going high and full hopping or drifting back in towards stage, but either one he does, right? If I'm just crouching and getting ready to look at what he does, I can still do anything out of a crouch and play how I want. But if he does come at me, like, now I can grab, you know? It's kind of like that. Another thing, not that I think Peach ever really gets to crouch cancel grab much against certain characters, but if there is a matchup where you find it very helpful, I could imagine Falcon maybe being one of them, or Sheik even.
I mean, it seems good against Spacey.
Yeah, Spacey's actually, like, especially on FD. Yeah. This is something a lot of people don't tell you, but it's because I feel like maybe people just assume you should know, but I didn't for years, and it's just really good. You can do crouch cancel grab with the Z button, of course, but you can also do it with shield grab and jump cancel grab. Both have their own advantages, and the frame data is technically the same on both, right? You can shield grab on frame 1, and you can jump cancel grab on frame 2. Like really, you can get the grab out on frame 2 on both of them.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the CC jump cancel grab is actually just better because if you mess up the grab, maybe you won't get it too much on because you're on box, but you could risk getting a light shield if you mess up the timing or if something bad happens. That could happen, or or you just get stuck air dodging off stage, right? So we talked about here before, like if you're doing the crouch and someone hits you and you mess up your timing, like, and they hit you, like all of a sudden, right? I could be off stage, maybe a little bit higher percent, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like that, you know? That could be something that happens. So instead, the option select would be you get a jump out of it. But really, jump cancel grab is the same frame data, you know? There I press Z, but that's just because I didn't do the jump cancel grab, you know? So, I don't know. I guess I don't think it's really relevant to the Marth matchup too much. I can't really see a lot of the times where you would just run in and grab off a crouch against him. It could happen if you think he's going to do like maybe forward air shield like that. That happens sometimes. But generally speaking, if you're ever going to grab out of a crouch cancel, it's something no one ever talks about, but you should do jump cancel grab out of a crouch cancel.
I think I'm trying to remember what Mewtwo said about you can like I think he does like crouch cancel and then he'll like hold L and just mash A and he gets better like timing out of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, well that's what I'm saying, right? Like you it's the same thing, right? Like the frame data is the same.
Yeah.
And you can do it, but the mix up is like, well, if Mewtwo doesn't get his timing right, like he's mashing, so he probably will. But if he messes up, or if he's doing that in the corner and he can't actually crouch cancel, he gets slid off and he's just holding it, right?
Yeah.
He gets an air dodge. Not that you can buffer air dodge, but it's the point being that you have that risk of messing up the timing. Where with the jump cancel grab, there's almost no risk. So it's just strictly better. I know Akla will do the jump cancel grab as well outside of the shield grab method. He does jump cancel. But yeah, I mean, not that that's too relevant to Marth Beach in particular, but I do think it's pretty good. So, going into tomorrow, I'll leave it up to you what you want to do. I know we talked about today about what to practice and where to specifically look for those openings a little bit, but it's up to you what you want or what you think is more beneficial to you. I would definitely recommend starting to do that 1 week method and getting that like character focus tab a little bit more reorganized, like the focus tab. So you definitely have a little bit of homework for tonight, but I'll leave it up to you what you want to do tomorrow. Would you rather do VOD review of Marths that you actually played against, or do you want to try and implement like we've been doing before, just what we have been doing, but with a new focus tab?
So tomorrow we don't actually have a live session scheduled, but I was thinking maybe
Are you sure?
tomorrow. Wait, what day is?
I think we have live sessions all the way up until. Oh no, you're totally right. Okay, sorry about that.
But I was thinking maybe we could try the Metafy interface for a replay.
Okay, sure. That I don't know if that's live. I've never actually done one through Metafy before.
It's like you have 2 days to respond.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, comments.
That's totally fine. I've been wanting to try that with someone anyway, so that works. We can definitely do that. And I think if it's better for you, in my opinion, it would be. You should try and send me Marths that you've played, versus me, because like, I mean, I'm sure you've noticed like you've taken like only a couple games the times we've been playing, right? Otherwise, it's been kind of heavily my favorite. Yeah. But you can definitely send me ones for other Marths that you've played, and maybe within those matches, there's probably only just one glaring weakness that separates you from them. You know.
Yeah.
That's usually how it is against any opponent that's at your level.
There's a Marth like very close to my skill level that we've been playing.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I know I still have to send you that video on how to get out of the corner in Ultimate. Maybe you can just add that in your tabs on defense and just have it be something you can look over. Or maybe even recovery. It's probably better for something like recovery than just straight up defense. Because in my opinion, defense and neutral kind of go together in hand a lot versus Peach. Not because she's campy or anything, just because like she doesn't really have many oppressive tools a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's really it for today. Unless you have any closing thoughts or questions.
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thanks, Robin. We'll see each other, I guess, Monday then, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
All right. See ya.